Alright, got a little update video for you. In the process of doing a rebuild here on the truck, and just going to show all the things that have changed since the last video that I've done like this. First off, we'll go around and show the cosmetic stuff on the outside. I had the tailgate shaved, did all that work myself. Then come on up to the front and added a cowl induction hood. Also, I painted that myself too. And then added the HID headlights with the blacked out parking lights. And now on to the audio side. One of the biggest changes that I did was back here in the back of the truck. We utilized a toolbox finally. And we've got 5 Batcap 4000s here in the back. Also 2 70 amp Stinger power supplies with the control modules. Also installed a control center back here for during SPL competitions. I can control everything from this radio. Has a voltmeter right there, has switches to turn the amps off and on, and has a remote gain knob to adjust the sub amps during the run. Those are 1/4 inch thick by 1.5 inch wide, 99% pure OFC copper bus bars. All Stinger 1/0 cable. It's either Pro or HPM cable. Overall, there's about 700 feet total in the truck when the complete rebuild's going to be finished. Right now we've got the wall completely tore out. Still got the same mids in the doors. Got some plans for that later on, but right now we're going to focus more on the wall. As you can see right now, everything is completely gutted, and it's ready for to start installing the new wall and building that into the truck. It's going to be 6 of the AQ HDC3-15s with a little custom twist to them. Going to have 4 of the AQ 3500Ds wired up with Toolmaker dual copper inputs for each input, so each amp will see 8 pieces of 1/0 cable, 4 powers and 4 grounds. So there's going to be a lot of wire that's going to have to be ran. I ended up just punching a hole through the back wall of the truck going into the toolbox since the wall was removed to run all the cable through. Right now those are 8 of the charge lines, power and ground, going to 2 of the alternators under the hood, which I'll get to that here in a minute. And then here's the old cables from the previous install that are all still good, and there's 8 of those as well, 4 power, 4 ground, from 2 of the other alternators. How I did that was I punched a hole through the floor and ran underneath the truck, and then punched a hole through the bottom of the toolbox. Got the AQ 120.4 4-channel mounted in the door, in the back door on the passenger side. I'm going to fiberglass a mold around that to clean all that up, and that's just rough fitted for right now, just to get an idea how it's going to lay out, and got it permanently mounted to the door for right now. Okay, now let's move on to the head unit that I changed out. Got one of the new DNX9990HD units molded into the dash. I did that with urethane since the stock DIN hole for the dash was a 1.5 DIN opening. Had to cut that and modify that to make the double DIN fit, and cleaned it all up and then painted it with black metallic paint and clear coated it. It's a very, very nice Kenwood unit. It's probably my favorite unit so far that Kenwood has released. We'll move on next to the alternator install, which completely changed up from the previous that was under the hood. Still running the quad kit bracket, but in prep for the alternators, did some performance mods as well to the truck. Had the truck actually custom dyno tuned and had long tube headers installed. Also removed rear O2 sensors, removed EGR, removed catalytic converters. So the truck's pretty loud now at idle. Also had the idle adjusted up in park to where the truck now idles at 1,000 RPM. If you're familiar with these year model make trucks, they normally idle at like 550. This truck idles at 1,000 now in park and 650 in gear. Also had the full-size 05 plus E-fan swap done onto the truck to help with idle and with cooling and everything else. Also got the larger radiator core installed to help with cooling the motor too, because the alternators have a tendency to put a lot of extra load on the motor, just causing all kinds of additional strain and additional problems. But I'll go ahead and start it up here in a minute, let you guys hear it, and go ahead and show you the alternators under the hood, because I know you probably want to see those. We went from the TJ Current alternators, which I had massive problems with. Even though they were a really good price, I had some pretty big issues with them. So I changed it up to a more reliable company, went with MECHMAN, and I have 4 of their SMD 340 units installed. They do 240 to 250 at idle, and since my idle's raised, they'll probably get a little more out of each one, and they peak out at around 350 each, so netting close to 1,400 amps I should have at 2,000 RPM, which will be really nice. I've got a Batcap 3000 installed over on the passenger fender. Had to custom make some brackets for that to fit. Made some custom copper bus bar terminals just to load all that wire onto there. I've got the hooker dual input fuse blocks for the charge lines. Still running the TJ Current quad kit bracket just because it is a really good solid bracket and there's not really much to improve on that. Did put a Batcap 4000 in the stock location, had to mod that as well, had to move the ECU PCM down underneath the battery tray. Made a custom bracket for that as well. Also built a bracket to tie down to hold this battery in place. And as you can see here, I've got external regulators for the alternators. I've got one for each pair, so I can essentially turn off, and these are on switches, relay switches, to where I can turn off 2 alternators at a time and only run 4 when needed. So when I'm driving around town, I can shut 2 down and just run 2 if I need to, or if I need to kick all 4 on because I want to turn the stereo up, or at competitions obviously, can kick all 4 on. And that'll take some of the load off of the motor when I'm only running 2. Try and get a shot in here of the long tubes. Got pace setter long tube headers, ceramic coated in the copper in the chrome ceramic coat with some MSD plug wires on there. Probably see the tube a little better on this side. But I'll go ahead and show you how those alternators work with the switches and how I have each one set up. I've got a switch in my center console in here, and we'll go ahead and fire it up too so you can see what these headers sound like. Alright, I've still got the voltmeter here in the dash that just monitors back at where the amps will be installed at. I'm going to install another one for the other side amplifiers so I can monitor voltage at each pair of amps because they will be strapped. Here's the remote gain knobs for each amp already installed and pre-wired. Now here in my center console you can see here's one switch where 2 alternators are running right now. I have a second switch right down here that I can flick on, and that'll turn the other 2 on. Now, to monitor voltage at each alternator, I've installed a set of flush-mounted voltmeters underneath that pocket that I wasn't utilizing for anything. So when I kick the switch on, it reads voltage at that pair of alternators. When I kick the switch off, the meter goes out. I can also turn all 4 alternators off and run just off battery power if I wanted to. I wouldn't advise that to anybody to do so. As you can see, the voltage starts dropping down to 12.9, 12.8 with the truck running. But that's the way I decided to dress everything in and get it installed in. And as you can see too, we're idling at 1,000 RPM. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Also, stay tuned for more updates. I plan on doing an additional video once everything is installed and get the amps in, subs in, get the wall all finished. There'll be another video released that will show all the detail of that. I got a lot of big plans for the wall. The look of it is going to be, essentially the whole thing is going to be painted, clear coated inside and out. It's going to be really nice, real sharp looking. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again.